Okay, I'm here. I'm going to try and implement a couple things um, for the mage because I think I have a good base. Okay, let's pull up my thing. So we have the normal fireballs, and then now we need to create the multi-fireball spell. Which, what's a good multi-fireball spell? Let's call it rapid fire. Yeah, no, not rapid fire. Um, hmm. Um, I guess go bombard. Sure. R1. Alright, so we're going to take the fireball, R1, copy that here. The fireball, R2, copy that there. The fireball, R3, copy that here. Start with R1. Gotta get this in the kits. Let's put it there for now, whatever. And then the different kits are here. Oh, actually, this is supposed to be R2. That's good enough for now. First one. This needs to be renamed Bombard. I did the wrong thing. Shit. This is Fireball. So all we have to do with this one is, I'm not going to worry about the animations right now. We're going to do 3 so let's do the rotation maybe. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, what the heck? Why does this have that? Okay. Let's get rid of the delay on the other ones here. Take that out. And this out. Oops. Okay. And once again, let's try on the projectile, let's see if we can do homing delay .5. Have to have to make an adjustment here. So this is where we need the thing. Should make it feel a little different. That's too long, clearly. It's not quite working with my projectiles, apparently. That too. Hit the wrong button. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe we just do different times. Yeah, that works. That's kind of what I'm going for. I can make them even more dramatically different here. Put this one to like 250. And this one to 1000. Get these too slow. also mess with the location. So the 500 one will spawn to the left, like 250. This one will go to the right, 250. Okay, 250 is too much. 125. Maybe 125. Yeah, I like that. Speed up this one like a little bit more, 750. This one can be more like 1250. Like that. Alright, and so basically we take this, we copy it, and this will be Bombard R1 crit. Oh, I didn't send it to the crit kit, the crit kit. Alright, so we have that as the R1. Basically, all of them are going to be similar. They're just going to be different, whatever. Now we get here, should do 3 stacks of burn. Why is it not casting? Did I put it in the, I put it in the wrong slot. should do. So I got 3 crits. But why did it not? Oh, the cooldown. I forgot about the cooldown on the passive. There's the 3 stacks. Okay, cool. So now we're going to go to the passive. The stat change. We're going to change this to like 20 for now. And it does increase with power. Yeah, already I'm getting a really cool sense of a mage. Okay, what else we got? So obviously I have to do the same thing, so I can actually delete this. Delete this. And then we're just going to copy these. Copy here. Copy here. And then, what is R2? Oh wait, this is R3. Dirt. I'm gonna set the, this is what, R3? we're going to go to Fireball here for now. Take the appearance of the R2 ones. Oh wait, hold up. So Fireball. All right. Let's do it for each one. Wait, did I do it right? Yeah, okay, R2. Oh, I need to set the crit ones up. And then I might have to set these ones up too. Okay, so R1, that's Fireball. Bombard, that's R1, and 2, and 3, then the R1 crit. There's a lot we can play with on the VFX side when we get that on stage, but I'm not too worried about it right now. It's already up to 20 damage a tick. It's 9 stacks. Okay, so that's cool. So I wonder, should I make the base of Bombard apply burn? And then the crit of Bombard, apply double burn. Or I could do like 6 projectiles on the... That would actually kind of be better. So on Bombard base, we're going to have 2 projectiles. I'm going to take 1 out. And then on the second one, we will have 3. And then on the R3, we will have 4. Let me see how that looks. So we have 2. Then we have 3. Then we have 4. Okay. And I need to change the size of these to like .25. See if that works. Oh, probability. Okay, those are too tiny on that one. Let's duplicate this for Bombard. Okay, these are all sprites, so sprite size. We're going to go, we're going to divide by 3, 4. these ones have to be like .6. Still, this one's too big. Okay. Think here. Question of how many fireballs do I want? On bombard. I guess we just increase it by 1 every time on crit. So maybe 2, 3, 4, and then 3, 5, 6. Yeah, that sounds right. Okay, so let's fix R1. So R1 is going to be, we have negative 125 and then 125. So we go here. Oops. It's not going to show right. But so now it should be like 1 here, 1 here. Okay. And then maybe like negative 50-ish. Maybe a little less delay on the second one. Okay, there's no delay. closer, I think. And then the second one will increase the speed again. So this one's like 1250. Maybe we keep the 2000-ish and then do a slight delay. That could work as well. Yeah, not too bad about that. Okay. Yep, and then 3. Yeah, that looks good. And then we're going to do the crit ones. So once again, we're going to take Bombard R1. We can copy that. Go to crit. Go to the collection. Just paste it. Just add one more. Actually, we'll leave that there and change the first one to 0. Down R2 crit. We're going to add one more. But this time it's going to be 62. It was like 125 divided by 2. All right, 125. And then the next one is 25 divided by 2. And then the next one is negative 25. And the third one, negative. So 1. That's all 3. Let's get a crit. 4. And then crit 1 should be 3. Yep. And then this last one. Alright, so R1 is 2 projectiles. R2 is 3 projectiles. R3 is 4 projectiles. Then I got the crits. R1 crit. It's 3. R2 crit. It's 4. And then R3 crit. It's 5. And I need to change the appearance on this. Cool beans. And then if I take the crits, and I also did Okay. So now the base ones apply it. We do have to change up all these stat changes. To do far less damage. We'll set it to 1 for now on each one. Gets their stuff rolling a little bit. But then if we do a crit, yeah, it's doubling up a lot. So I gave 12 stacks, and now it's 28. Okay. So apply stacks. Versus not apply stacks. So and then gets bonus stacks. And yeah, I think I am going to do ignore power on all of these for now. Or do I have a power ratio? I wonder if that's the better thing to do. I think I have a power ratio. Okay, yeah, let's do, alright. Not ignore power. But power scaling like .25. There we go. Much better. Then our actual fireballs, obviously we'll adjust them so they do a bit more. Yeah, so we have the thing that applies lots of burn, and then we have the thing that is big burst. So it's relatively low damage on casting it, but you're building it up over time. And then the next one is Ignite, and that's going to be applying damage based on your burn stacks, but removes them. I will have to create something different for that. Do some custom code on that one. But Bombard is effectively done from a design. There's like polish and stuff to do, but Bombard is good. And so this is currently, so let's take burn off the kit of all these. So dot is now going to be Bombard. And then we can just delete this for now. Fireball, Bombard. And we're going to swap the order of those. Or are we? Yeah, this is supposed to be Q. And then newbie. Bombard, Fireball. Oh, yeah. All the other kits. So this is going back to empty for now. And then Fireball is going to dot. And this is going to Bombard. Okay. So QE are pretty much done. So when I look at this, Q is now just bombard. And then these guys are actually something else. This could probably go here. This could be just ignite. Okay, this can go probably here. And ignite can probably go here. Yeah, we can do a lot of different VFX with the bombard, different versions and art and ranks. So that'll be interesting. Okay. So a little bit of stuff done. Yeah, so one I like as very, well, this one kind of is out of place. I might make drain heat its entirely own thing. And then all of this stuff is kind of here. This is sort of two. AoEs are kind of on two. And then drain heat is on R. And there could be a lot of different various ways to drain heat. Like AoE drain heat, single target drain heat. Could be dots of drain heat. Hello, Ding Long. How are you? So if you're just joining, I'm making an indie MMO. It's very, I always say it's EverQuest and WoW had a baby type thing, but with modernized features, like quality of life features. And so we play test at the end of every month. So if you wanted to give it a try, the next play test is from the 28th to the 31st. I'm doing some class redesigns this month. So currently we have the Cleric, Enchanter, and Warrior complete, and I'm working on the Mage. And so the Mage is kind of It's kind of built around your passive, which creates burns stacks. We have a unique combat system where you have rotation ruins, and your abilities will change based on the number of ruins you have. And the simple example here, and when they turn red, you actually get a critical ability or a critical cast. There is no just crit chance in the game. It's all just critical abilities. But even that changes your abilities as well. So if I just go down here, an R1 fireball, you can see my cast bar changes. Cast it, and it's kind of big damage. Apply the stack as a crit. But now if I do an R2 fireball, it could be a different fireball effects. And I'm still working on the faint mage here, right? So, and if we look at the, we can just go down to, I create a bombard ability. So the first one casts 2 fireballs. Then on R2, it's going to cast, well, it's a critical, so it's going to cast like 4. And then on the 3, and bombard actually applies your burn stacks. So you see all those little multi-fireball spells were all one button. They're all on Q type thing. And now we have a ticking dot that's got 14 stacks. We've applied burn. And the final ability I'd be making that kind of does a lot of this together is ignite, which will basically explode. Do big giga damage based on how many stacks you have up on the target. And then on the bombard ability, when it's a crit, it actually applies multiple stacks. And so the base one is 1 stack per projectile, but now I have a critical ability, so every one does 2 stacks each. And so you can see now I have 10 stacks of burn going. So you're kind of built around. And the next phase is also you're going to have like some empowers and buffs for yourself. Cool. I'm glad you like it. That's just one part of us. We have like 3 main systems that are our core. The rotation ruin combat system is the first one, right? And so just so you know, like you're always going to be locked to 8 buttons for abilities, right? But because of the rotation ruin system, there's technically 6 different abilities you could potentially have per button. And so that equals out to about 48 different abilities, potentially. Now, to simplify that a little bit, it's usually like, because of crit and stuff, you have your base ability, but then the crit one is an upgraded one. So the enchanter has like a warrior pet. If you have a crit cast on your warrior pet, it's going to be a better warrior pet. That type of thing. So it's a little bit easier, memorization in your head type thing. But that goes into a little bit of the Registry Chronicles, which is our version of merging questing and achievements together. So instead of getting all these stupid fetch quests or kill quests, you just go out and kill some bears, kill some stuff, and you get the rewards through the Registry of Chronicles. Right now it's only experience, but in the future it's going to be abilities and recipes and equipment and loot. It's also a very class specific rewards. So if you're a cleric and you go kill 200 undead, maybe you get the smite undead spell, that type of thing, which also goes into our camp system. And so we have our map here, and the whole gameplay loop is right now it's mostly just me. My wife built out the world, this world here, that is made, and then it's just us two as a total. And keep in mind though that we also have a past creating game tech called Vertical Third, and that basically was 3 years plus of making our actual tech. And so we have a lot done, even though we started at the end of 2024, which was basically just us reskinning the game with Cinti Studio assets, of reskinning Vertical Third with Cinti Studio assets. And so, we've been, we have some YouTube content if you're interested. I'm not sure if you're a game dev or anything, if you like those things, but there's that there for our channel. We have our Vertical Third. This is our game tech, which basically is powering vertical third. I'll suggest that the game architecture video kind of describes what vertical third is and how much work we already have done. And then we also actually went on the Unreal Engine live stream and talked all about the game direction that we're doing with everything. And when we went on the live stream, it was only like 3 years. It was only like 3 months after we started the project, and we had an online playable vertical slice, right? So, thank you. Yeah, we've done a lot, and we've been playtesting since like February every month. February we actually did several playtests, and then we're always trying to basically stress test our servers because we don't know. On our Ruins of Tearyn channel, we have our server kind of tech stack breakdown. But every server is going to have a player limit. Every level is its own server. So if we have 1 million people online, it's not a server trying to support 1 million people. It's zone specific and how many people are in that zone. And oh, thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate it. We're trying to get our stuff to like the 1,000 sub mark and hopefully get everything monetized and stuff. And the big part is actually trying to get people to show up for our playtests. Because that way we can get a lot more. We have a lot of content we need to create, but we really want to have like a lot of people running around the world and stuff to record and things. Yeah, and so, but yeah, just touching the camp system, you open your map, you can see all these different camps, and basically it's like a very EverQuest-oriented gameplay loop, where you group up with your friends, and you go and kill monsters at different camps. Each camp has stuff that you can farm, bosses that can spawn to get different items from, and that's kind of the gameplay loop. But if you group up with your friends, you go to Earth Elementals, maybe you don't need something specifically there, but you can always get something for killing elementals from your Registered Chronicles. And so like right here, I click that, boom, got 500 experience, that type of thing. And then we also have a crafting trait skill for metamorphosis. And so as you kill stuff in the world, you get their essence, which you can craft into crystals, and you actually increase the levels of that camp. And so this is a level 10 to, all these are level 10 to 14 camps. But if you still want to farm that because you need that item or whatever, you can be a level 15, upgrade the camp from +5, and now they're 15 to 19 enemies. And at some point, we haven't implemented this part yet, but the enemies that's the named bosses that spawn will be like fabled versions of themselves that drop better loot. Hello, Melzy. How are you doing? I'm working on the Mage now. So the Mage is early morning for me, taking a break on Minecraft before I return to work. How's it going? Pretty good. Been a little bit mellow. I did yesterday. I did a big kind of brainstorm session on how I want the Mage to work, and he's actually the first one that's gonna basically start off the game with a passive. And through vertical third, all my passives show down here. And so every time you crit, you're going to get a passive burn stack. And so that has this thing. And so obviously a fireball doesn't give burn stacks by default. But then when you have a crit fireball, now it's actually going to apply a stack of burn. And so boom, burn, and then, stack is burning now. But then you have your bombard spell, which by default actually applies, it's low damage, but applies your stacks of burn. And then when you get a crit, you will actually get double the stacks. And so we're at 4 now, and if I go to 3, this is going to apply like 10 stacks. And so now it's at 15 stacks, I think, or 14 stacks. And so now it's ticking for 33. And then one of the next spells I'll eventually have as well is kind of Ignite, which will explode them for damage based on the number of stacks, burn stacks they have. So it's kind of like an execute type spell. And the kind of like, again, our philosophy is like slow-paced combat, right? And when you do that, you have to have each, for a mage, it's a lot about, you have to have, like, the mage is going to have mostly damage abilities, right? But then you get in this thing of, well, you're not really doing any type of modern MMO button rotation, right? And so if you have 5 or 6 damage buttons in a slow-paced game where probably 4 of them are always off cooldown, you have to have very distinct, what did I use? What is the word I used? Identity to each damage spell. Otherwise, people are just going to do the math and figure out which spell is the best one to use. And so the fireball is your bread and butter, damage nuke that you're probably going to be using a lot. But then in longer fights, you're going to want to make sure your burn stacks are up. And so that's where Bombard comes in, where you want to probably have more burn stacks going. And then finally, Ignite is, okay, it's going to do terrible damage unless you have lots of burn stacks. So it's kind of like really trying to identify the purpose of each damage spell. Yeah, I know, gamers optimizing fun, I know, right? And so that's kind of the, and so that's the mentality with creating the mage, is it's a slow-paced game, so every damage button has to have a unique purpose to it. Otherwise, it's just going to be which one does the best damage. And so you have your default one, that's good damage. Then you have their burn stacking ability, which is better for longer term fights. Your execute ability with Ignite. And then I'm also going to get into some empowers that are, like, I'm going to do basically a drain heat ability, which basically gives you stacks of empower for your fireball. So you're trying to, because it goes back into the, we have stagger in the game. And so one of the things I'm trying to facilitate is to do good damage, you're preparing your kit to like unload burst damage when something's staggered. That's kind of like the goal, because that gets away from having to button mash abilities type thing, or button mash or rotation. And so you're casting your damage spells, but you're also trying to buff yourself up for that stagger. So when you do throw your fireball out, it does like giga damage. And that goes back with, again, not only do they take 20% more damage when they're staggered, they take also 20% more damage from behind. So it's about making sure you're behind the target, your buffs are ready, you're casting it on time, you can see the stagger bar coming up, and you're kind of like, again, it's all that decision making, thoughts per second type thing to try and make sure that you're not having to button mash to do good damage. As long as you time it properly and prepare your character for the right moment and the right time, then you're doing your damage properly. And then obviously there's going to be an AoE spells of some sort, but again, AoE is kind of limited in vertical or in Ruins of Tearyn, because we want very single target focused combat. Let's change that bombard spell icon and just get that gone. We need, is there like a multi-fireball thing? Guess this one works. And then fireball needs to also be changed. We don't want this there. This doesn't need to be here. And we'll just change this to something different for the sake of it. Yeah, and I'm going to play with, when I get to that stage, I'm going to have a lot of different cool ways the fireballs come in. For Bombard, it's going to be, almost feel like an airstrike at times when I get to that stage. To make it feel a little bit different from the standard fireball. Yeah, Drain Heat, I think it's going to be its entirely own ability. So you have Q that applies, it's great at applying stacks of burn. You have E, that is your big fireball burst damage spell. You have R, that is going to be your, and then you have R, that's going to be your kind of empower to make fireball go big damage mode. And have different ways of draining heat. Drain Heat can be an AoE spell because you're it's mostly it's not going to be a damage oriented spell. It's going to be purely a other form of spell. It's going to give you buffs. All right, let's just start on Drain Heat a little bit. All right. So first up, it's probably going to be. Let's take the dot, I guess. Burn. Okay. All right. So we do want this to target an enemy. actually kind of works. With that, try that one. So I wonder how I'm going to do this. So I guess in some say we're going to target lock actor. That's fine. But it's not actually going to do anything to the target. So I'm going to add another one of these. And so this one is basically, oh, I don't even think I need this actually. Okay, maybe self. Oh, yeah, so we do need this. That's there. But the stat change is doing nothing, so we just do -1. And then this is going to be 0. And the targeting is going to be self, 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 extra current. And this is going to be a buff, positive, self, unavoidable, power. We'll start with the power fireball. I guess drain heat, I don't know. And power. Stack bonus. So let's just try 2. Do a damage bonus of 2. This is no, this is no. I will likely have to change this to by tag instead of by name. Goodbye. That should work. Stacks, let's try 3. Duration 60. Go over our kits. Progression Mage. This one is actually going to be here. 06. Okay, let's see here. So drain heat. Does it give me my buff? Okay, gives me my buff. Now this is an empower, so when I do a fireball, it should go away. It did not go away. Oh wait, did I? Alright, let's try just, if I put that to 1, does it work? Okay. Maybe I do instant. Let's try this. Instant empower self. Maybe that's what it is. And then the empower has its own system of buff timings. Nope. That's not it. Oh, can stack maybe? try that. Let's see if it's... I don't think it's just plus damage. Is it doing flat damage? Okay, maybe... Let's go check stat component. Alright, so let's look at this. Does this exist right now? So we start off with drain heat, then we nuke, 0. Okay, so let's look for our empower. Oh, empower's broken. Why is empower there? Where's empower supposed to be? How did this get disconnected? This is weird. It must be being called somewhere else, right? This is very strange. I don't know why that is disconnected or if it's being applied somewhere else, which is interesting. It might be being applied somewhere else. Let's do a full search. Interesting. I don't know why that got deleted or disconnected or what. And we are getting here, right? Breakpoint. Okay. So we get there. Now we do get empower. Okay, let's start with this, I guess. Why is this returning nothing? Length. So now we hit fireball. 2. Okay, so this seems all fine. It's just not getting the empower properly. Let's make sure this is the mage after I hit the target. Mage. Mage. So that's correct. I gotta AFK a second here. Just gonna check my kiddo. All right. So getting power. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, okay, that could be a problem. I'm not passing the action name into this. Or wait. Oh, yes, I am. Oh, it's the stat name. That's what I'm doing wrong. Okay. Okay. I see the problem. It's all working. So stat change. We will do I probably should just go ahead and add the tag. Yeah, let's do this. This will just make things a lot easier. I'm going to add tags to the gameplay tags to the empower, so I can just search for a gameplay tag instead. Let's go down here, stat, empower, add an array of gameplay tag. And then on this game get empower, we're also going to do gameplay tags array gameplay. And then we go back to get empower. So the first thing I'm going to do is just to verify empowers are working by name, which is what default Burgle Third has. So go to database, we're going to go to players, classes, mage. And for every fireball, change the name here, mage fireball. These are all mage fireball, right? Okay, they're all mage fireball. So I'm just going to copy this for now. And if we go to drain heat, down to empower, and technically I only need one mage fireball. Now that should actually remove the buff and deal the bonus damage. It's going to do like a gajillion damage, I think. So heat and fireball. Boom, 2047. Did not remove the buff though. Okay, so it's working, but it's not removing the buff. I'm just going to leave it at like 5 times the value. Stack bonus duration 60. I wonder if I do it instant now. Does that do it? No, that's not going to do it. So that's a little weird. My power is used to remove themselves from the character. But I don't see where it's doing that. At least it is removing it, because it did. When I did it, it didn't update the damage on all my spells. It's just not updating the client. Okay, well, I don't particularly feel like troubleshooting this per se at the moment, but I will. What is unlimited? So we're going to add a gameplay tag section to this here. Let's go all the way down here. And then we're going to see if this, so we're going to have to take gameplay tags. This is from the spell itself. So for each of these, we need to check to see if this contains any of these. And we'll do a local variable for just and so if it's false, we continue down here. If it is true, we go here. We also need to check for is valid. Index. Okay, so now during heat, we're going to take off the action name. We're going to put in a gameplay tag. We're going to do a new spell, Mage.fireball. And then on all of the fireballs, on all their stat changes, we add fireball. And I can just copy this whole thing. Alright, so I'm mimicking what I did with the action names. So action names, check if it's a valid index. If it's false, we just go down this path here. If it's true, we have to compare the action name, and this is the incoming gameplay tag, so this is the stat change itself. And we're checking if it's contained in the Empower data. If it's true, we're just saying, hey, we found one. And when we search through that array, if it's found, we pass through. This is actually false here, so we cancel that one out. And we come through here. And then during heat, set the fireball, so let's see if that works. Did I hook this up right? Okay. Oh, that's why. Okay, I see the mistake here. So this needs to now so if it's true on the name, we can skip through this. It's a pass on the name. And then we just continue forward here. And if it's a false, we also check for the tag. And because before I removed all the names, it wasn't trying to check. And it didn't work. How are we getting here? How are we still not getting here? Oh, duh. Remove breakpoint, because is valid is not going there. We need to take the is valid and now go to check the next thing. There we go. Now it's working by tag. Now if I do another one, alright, so let's give it how many stacks now. Interesting. Alright, so drain heat, get the first one. Fireball. Another fireball. Another fireball. It's gone. So it's 2 stacks. Whereas right now, so is it using an array? Alright, well I got some troubleshooting to do on the power stuff. I'm just going to mark that down. I think I'm done for tonight though. Alright, to do. Fix some power. Stack properly. And then update client when a stack is removed. And then the next thing would be ignite. Apply damage based on number of stacks a enemy has of a specific buff. Purge buff when complete. Let me try this once more. So drain heat and power. I felt like it was working when I had it as just a name. Mage fireball. Mage fireball. Do 1 fireball. And another. Okay. And then if I do the opposite with the gameplay tag, it now lasts for 2 stacks. So something's up there. It's 1 and 2 and okay. So why would this be causing 2 to remove? I mean, 2 to be added. I'm assuming this gets here twice. Added. All right, let's switch this up. We're going to do, for each of these, we'll check if it contains yeah. Okay, and then I kind of screwed up my test. What the heck? Okay. So on my notes, so I think this is working now. But then we have a when reapplied, update stacks. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think that's all good. Getting power. So yeah, so I need to figure out how I was, at some point I got this to work where it was updating the client every time a stack was removed. Oh, we do have the action name. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to update. So to this empower struct, I think I have to update with my purge information, because purge basically should be here. And I don't think I have the right stuff to have that happen. Let's see if I can do a quick fix, maybe. So if I go change stat modify, this comes in, we apply the empower, which is setting the empower thing here with the empower. Let me verify. Okay, so this is coming through, which I believe is the right thing. And I think we just make that local. I guess I could also update purge by tag. Do this here. Let's move all the way back here. We want to do this last. We'd get the empower. We would get this. Break. Move all this all the way back. I'm going to promote this to local variable. just add unique, I guess. With the name that we have here. So let's save all. This is going to be empower. And we need a text. Okay, for this guy, so this we're going to update with action name as we apply it. And then on the empower get, I'm going to add this to the purge names. And let's see if this works. Oh, I'm not even right level. Okay. Okay. Oh. Um. I don't think I set the purge up right. So set up value that. We just make sure that it's not, this was normally just connected here. Okay. And now connect it here. I'm going to add a breakpoint here. I don't know if it was just a name thing. Purge initialize. Action specific. Let's try this real quick. Break action names for each print string. Okay. Now it's gone. So that's adding it properly. I wonder if is the remove conflicting with it? Is that what it is? Nope. What could I be missing here? Action specific value. I don't think that matters. So something's being super spammed. Why is it doing so many of those? Hmm. So all this seems to work. It's just for some reason it comes down here. I don't know. I'm going to have to put a note in this later. Yep, I'm done. Thanks for watching, everyone.